I'm back. I'm hoping everything works this time. I was so upset. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, I am so sorry if you tried to watch my unboxing live earlier this morning. Did not work. I thought sure it said it went live, and then it didn't. So I do have the uploaded version there, and you can find the link to that in the video description, so that way you can still watch that. I am so sorry about that. I'm going to get my chat up. And if you would let me know if there's anybody on YouTube right now watching, please let me know if you're seeing this right now. Because I'm going to double check and make sure it still says it's live. Well, I'm not seeing any picture. Oh, there we go. It is working. Okay, good. All right, so please let me know. Let me switch some screens. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties of it. I was a little paranoid when I thought, sure, I was live on YouTube this morning and it didn't work. So it looks like it's working right now. Oh, good. Thanks. Thank you, Mercies. Thank you so much. I'm so glad there's somebody watching right now so I can know that. And it looks like Facebook's up and running, so we're good to go. Well, I am so happy. I actually did get 2 cards done this afternoon. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it. They are simple cards, but I really like how they turned out. And to be honest, you're going to be surprised. I almost didn't use my die cutting machine. I'm actually not using any die cutting, but I am embossing something because I just had to show you that. Oh, what's the name of it? The painted texture folder. It is just, oh, I love it. I just wanted to show you that. But first I'm going to start off with Garden Wishes. So let's go ahead and switch screens here and get my chat back up on YouTube. That's one thing I don't like. Every time I change screens, my chat goes away from YouTube. But now you're back up so I can see it. I will try to answer your questions as we go along. If I don't, I will come back and answer your questions after the video is over. Now, those of you on YouTube, if you have a question, for some reason, they take the live chat off. I mean, I can't comment. I'm sorry. I can't comment on the live chat after the live's over. So I'll pin your answer up at the top of the regular comments at the video when you see the recording. Okay, let's get started. Here's the Garden Wishes stamp set. Now, I'm only going to show you the things I'm using right now. If you want to see everything that I got from the new catalog that I was able to get because I attended on stage at home last week, make sure you check out my unboxing video, and I've got a link to that in the video description, both on YouTube and Facebook. And then once this video is processed, I'll even put a link up at the top right corner on YouTube, so you can just click on that if you want to see it. But right now I'm going to be using the Garden Wishes. I'm not using the dies that are with it. So like I said, if you want to see those dies, make sure you watch the unboxing video. Okay, so I'm going to grab, and I'm going to use some things that you need to get now. I'm going to use these beautiful gold cards and envelopes. These are in the August to December mini right now, so you can purchase these now. Now, I will be surprised if these make it in the catalog. They still might. We don't know anything about the retired things. Hi, Diana. But if you really like the card I make and you want to get these card bases, make sure you get them before they get on the retired list. Hi, Amy. Glad you guys are here. Okay, so I'm going to use, I love these card bases, so make sure you don't get these before they're sold out or retired. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of Very Vanilla, and I just had to use, of course, the blending brushes. I showed these in the unboxing video. Now, one thing I wanted to show you real quick, this is a new one. You get 3 in a pack. And what I did, I had some ink on here. You'll see the ink on this one when I make the card. I just put water on this and brushed it with my thumb, and the ink came out. Doesn't that look, see, it looks just as clean. I'm sure after it doesn't look quite as white, but the ink is off of there, so I'm going to be able to use this with any color again. So you just use water and get that taken out. I'm sure eventually, especially with dark colors, I'm using light colors, it'll probably stain. I was really happy with how that worked out. So I wanted to show you that real quick. So let's grab a piece of my grid paper here. And I wanted to have like a brushed background, so I'm going to grab my Calypso Coral and Bumblebee. So these are the 2 yellows I'm using. I mean, 2 colors I'm using. I'm going to start off with Bumblebee. You always want to start off with a lighter color. And I figured Bumblebee was probably lighter than the Calypso Coral. You pick up some ink. See, I'm getting some on that blender. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. You see some of the yellow. I'm going to brush a little bit off so it's not too bright. Now I'm going to go really, really light. Start off the cardstock. That's why you want some scrap paper underneath. I'm going to get this up on the screen a little better. And just do this. And hopefully you can see this. Let me zero in a little more. Let me make sure I've got the right picture. Now I'm going to have to get the chat back up again. There we go. That should help a little bit. Get my chat back up. There we go. So I'm going to add a little more ink to it. Just keep adding. You can always add. You can't take away. And then as you go up, it lightens up, of course. So I've got the darker yellow down here. Now, this is not blended really well, so I'm going to get a little more ink and just keep adding till it looks good to me. Like I said, I want to get a little lighter at the top. I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I'm going a little higher than I'm wanting. So hopefully you can see that. So it's got a little gradual effect, gives you that ombre effect. And I'm still going to do a little more here so that blends a little better. Oh, that looks much better. There we go. Now I'm going to turn this over because I want the clips of coral to actually be a little darker on the top. Since this is lighter, I actually want the lighter versions to meet in the middle. So since I used the lighter, I can still go ahead and use the same blending brush. Pick up some Calypso Coral now. Make sure it's not too dark. Start here off the cardstock again. And go on here. Just keep adding ink until you've got it the way you want it. And I am intentionally going over the yellow part. Okay, so just keep going. And this blends so much better than the sponge brayers, the sponges. I really like how smooth that looks. But there you go. So I've got going to be like kind of a sunrise. Now I'm going to take this pretty stamp. This is that Garden Wishes stamp set again. I'm going to take my Memento ink pad. This is a Tuxedo Black. Oops. Sorry, my screens are going everywhere here. Hold on a minute. I want to make sure that my other screen's still working. Okay, since this is a bigger one, I find it easier, since the ink pad is smaller, turn your stamp upside down, and that way, too, you can tell if you've got it inked up really well. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp this pretty much in the middle. I want that yellow on the bottom. Of course, you could do it if you like the Calypso Coral at the bottom better, then just switch it around. So there that is. Now, originally, that's all I was going to do. I was just going to make it the black, and you can still do that. But I'm like, oh, I need some more color to that. I do like that. So you could definitely stop there and just have a silhouette looking version. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to color it in with some blends. Okay, so I'm going to grab, I'm going to start with my dark Mossy Meadow. And I'm using colors in a Dandy Garden Designer Series paper for this one. And I'm just going to put just a couple of places where I want it to be dark. I'll try to color quick. And I'll try to answer your questions. When I color, it's hard for me to look up at the comments. I have to concentrate. Hi, Teresa. Oh, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. I always love getting new people. It's exciting. That's the neat thing with YouTube and Facebook. You get to meet new people. There's some people I feel like I am friends with, even though I haven't met them in person. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to not do a lot of dark. Just a few places where I think it should just be a little dark. Grab my light Mossy Meadow. I'm going to color all these in. I'm not going to worry about staying the lines, because that's the neat thing about the images in this. You want to get that watercolor effect, and sometimes getting out of the lines, sometimes even just missing some of the lines and having some of that background show is fine too. That gives that watercolor effect. So I'm going to go down, and I am so happy that my YouTube video is working. I was so mad when I got done with my unboxing this morning. It was like, really? So I'm so glad my Facebook Live works, so that way I could upload that video. So you can still see that, like I said, on my YouTube channel too. And of course on my Facebook page, it's still there too. So get all of these. But see, I really liked, one thing I've learned, our classic ink pads do not bleed with the blends. Now, if I were to use like our ink pads and a blender pen or an aqua painter, it would start blending this background ink with whatever I'm coloring in. But since these blends are alcohol based, I don't have to worry about that. So I can just color right over. This is actually the first time I've ever done this. I was really excited when I saw that it worked. I had a feeling it would, but it still made me happy when it worked. I'm almost done getting these colored. The flowers don't take long at all. Sometimes with all of these little lines down here, it's hard to tell what's background and what's leaves. So don't fret over it. Nobody else is going to be able to tell a difference either. You just color it the way you think it looks best. And if you're wondering when these are available for demonstrators that didn't get to, actually, we can't, even the ones that went on stage, yesterday was the last day we could place our order. So all demonstrators can start getting these December 1st. But as a customer, you have to wait till January 5th, I do believe. Now, if you don't want to wait that long, you can always join my team and start buying stuff December 1st early and at a discount. Love being a demonstrator. Okay, now I'm going to use my Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to use my dark one for the center here. I want to make the center just a little bit darker than the rest of it, but I'm not making a complete circle. I don't know if you can tell that. I kind of made it a jagged look. So I'm going to do that here. And since this one's a little different, I just thought I'm just going to have that little center part be the darker part, the base right there. Then I'll bring in my light Blackberry Bliss and color that in. I just thought this made the flower pop a lot more than just leaving it black. So I was really happy with how this turned out. And I'm going to definitely use this technique more often, having a sponge background in the back and then coloring it with my blends, because it works out really well. Okay, doesn't that look, I just think that looks so much better than from the black and white version. I thought that looked really cool. So I'll go ahead and get these out of the way. Don't need my blends anymore. Bring in my gold card and get this folded and crease really good. Going to grab a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock. Now, I think I gave you the size of this one. This is 2.5 by 4.5. I'm sorry, 2.25 by 4.25. This is 2.5 by 4.5 inches. So I'm going to bring in my seal and get this attached right in the middle. And if you haven't worked with blends before, this is what is supposed to happen. It is supposed to bleed through the back. That means you've got it nice and blended. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm noticing that my center on this one is still a little too dark. I want that to be blended just a little bit more. So I'm going to go with my light. Actually, I want my brush tip. Go with the light and just go right where those two shades meet. And that'll blend it out a little bit again. There, now it's a nice gradual effect. That's not near as dark as it was. Okay, now we're going to grab a piece of the Dandy Garden Designer Series paper, and I will just say DSP from here on out. So whenever you hear me say DSP, that's Designer Series paper. This is 3 3¾ inches by 2 inches. I'm going to attach this to my card base. And yes, I am cutting up the piece where you can punch out the dragonflies. That was one thing I forgot to show in the unboxing. I had thrown the punch out of the way, so that you do get a punch with that. Is it Dragonfly Garden? I think is what it's called. So I'm going to put this right here. I did it 3 3/4 length instead of a 4 or 4¼ because I wanted it to fit right in between the gold and this. So I thought that looked really good. Now I'm going to attach this. And like I said, these cards go together really fast, so this live's not going to be that long. But I really liked how they turned out. I love it when quick and easy cards can be really pretty, and they can be. You don't have to get real elaborate. So there we've got that. Now we're going to do our greeting, and we are going to be done. So I'm grabbing a scrap piece of Very Vanilla, and I'm going to stamp the wishing you all the best. Oh, thanks, Mercy. I'm glad you like it. Glad it's looking good. Sometimes with videos, it's hard to do it justice. But it's not looking too bad. I'm kind of looking at my screen, and it's not too bad. Okay, I'm going to stamp this right here. This is with Blackberry Bliss ink, by the way. Get this closed. I'm always scared, and I've done this in a video before. If I have my ink pads open, I end up landing something right on top of it and ink it up and ruin it. I've done that before, and it's... I'm sure that's happened to you too. Hi, Linda. Glad you're here. Okay, so I'm going to... Oh, this is the Timeless Label Punch. This is something else you can get right now. It's in the annual catalog. I love this punch. So We'll get that out of the way. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. So I'm just going to put one on each end. Oops, I got the paper backing off of one of those. Let's grab this one since I got the backing off. There we go. Grab my Take Your Pick tool. Take that off. And I'm going to put it, oops, don't want it upside down. I'm going to put it right about here. Okay. Now I could have stopped there, and I almost did. I think that looks fine, but I wanted a little more to it. See if, oh, here it is. I was afraid I didn't bring it over. This is the Mossy Meadow braided linen trim that comes with this suite. This is something that we could purchase beforehand, before the on stage at home. I'm just going to take enough and tie a little bow. So I'm just going to do it here on the end. Actually, go down a little farther. Tie my little bow. I always get nervous when I do a bow on a video, thinking, oh, is it going to work? There we go. I still struggle with bows sometimes. I just keep playing around with it till it looks good. Now I'm going to take my scissors, cut that little bow off. That way I'm not wasting any ribbon. Oh, thanks, Teresa. I'm glad you like that. Okay, now I'm going to take a glue dot, put it right on my glue dot. And this is the way to do it. Keep the glue dot on the paper, on the backing, and then that way you don't have it all over your finger. I'm going to put it right here in the corner. Play around with it. I think I want my tails to be a little bit shorter. So cut that. Definitely this one. We want to even them up. There. So I just add a little bow, and that is done. I really was happy with how that turned out, and I really like coloring the image, not just have a silhouette. So you definitely have just the silhouette, but I really like it colored in. Okay, now we are going to I am going to make a card that feature, oh, and I love the gold envelopes. I have to show you that. That just makes it look so classy. Like I said, these gold cards and envelopes are in the August to December mini, so make sure you get those before, in case they retire. They may make it in the next catalog. We'll see. I'm not sure. Okay, now we're going to bring in, get some of my stuff out of the way so I can get the new card going. This one is featuring the Art Gallery stamp set. Right now, this is my favorite that we were able to purchase. I love this one. It is so pretty. And this card goes together in no time. There's no coloring, some two-step. Oh, thanks, Diane. I'm glad you liked the last card. I love this. And I'm also going to be using the Painted Texture embossing folder. I had to show you how good this looks. That's why I still had to use the Stampin' Cut and emboss. And I'm using some dies that were available. I take that back. I did use a die, but I went ahead and die cut it ahead of time just so you wouldn't have to wait for me to get it all die cut. And to be honest, I didn't want little gold pieces all over my workspace while I was working, so I thought I'd do it ahead of time. So I used this one. This is the Ornate, oh, what is this called? Oh, Ornate Layers. I always want to call it frames. It's not Ornate Frames, it's Ornate Layers. This is in the annual catalog, so you can purchase these right now. I use these on everything. I love them. So this was the die that I used. And I used the brushed metallic cardstock for it. Now, I don't know, you might be able to see it in the video, but it does have a brushed look to it. And these are in the August to December mini. And you want to make sure you get this packet. There's gold, bronze, and copper. Yeah, those are the three metallics in the cardstock. And I just love it. It is so pretty. And this is the gold version. So you want to make sure you get those in case they retire too. I'm hoping this doesn't. But they've done that to me before. They've retired something. So make sure you don't miss out on getting that. Okay, we are going to grab a piece of Whisper White. And this is a photopolymer set. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat. It stamps a whole lot better having some foam underneath it since there isn't on the stamps. I'm going to grab, normally when I do two-step with photopolymer, I do the dark color first, but with this one, the light color is so much bigger and it doesn't have to line up perfectly. So I'm going to do the light version first because I was afraid if I stamped the dark one, I wasn't going to be able to get the big one right where I wanted it. So that's my thinking there. Sometimes you do have to change it up. There's not a set rule on how you do the two-step. You just do what's easiest for your project. So this is So Saffron ink. I'm going to stamp it right here at the top. And I am going to look like an artist here, and believe me, I am not. I'm not an artist. My handwriting stinks, but I can stamp. Now I'm bringing in Bumblebee. I'm using colors that come in the, what is the name? The Fine Art Floral DSP. And I'll be using one of those images. So I'm just going to kind of get there to where it looks good. There we go. Isn't that neat? I love getting the two-tone effect. Oh, Susan, that's fine if you're late. There have been some others coming in late, and if you want to see the whole video, it'll pop up as soon as we're done, and you can watch the recording. So there is the Bumblebee and the So Saffron. I think that those two yellows look so good together. I was really happy with that. Now I'm going to bring in my old olive ink pad and stamp my leaves and stem. And I figured since there's a little bit of an indentation right here, that's a good place to put the stem. So put that right there. Love it being photopolymer. You can get it right lined up so easy. And I almost forgot. I thought I was done stamping, but let's hurry up and do the greeting, and then I'll be done stamping. So I told you this was going to be a fast card, and this of the two, this one's my favorite. But it could be because I really like the stamp set so much too. So I'm going to bring in my Tuxedo Black again and stamp my thank you from that set. Put it in the bottom right corner. And we are done stamping. Now I want to show you the really neat thing to do. I do this a lot. When you want to, if you want to have embossing with your stamping, make sure you stamp first. Now I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. Hopefully get this in the video. This is hard to do sometimes. Oh, it's not too bad. The sandwich is the #1 platform. Then you put your, your cardstock inside your embossing folder. So this is going to make it look like a painting. That's why I wanted this to look like a painting. And that's also why I use this, because this can be a neat frame. So it's going to look like a picture. Then it's a 3D folder, so you need the specialty plate on top. Crank it through. And then get this out of the way. And get ready for the magic. Hopefully you'll be able to see this in the video. Isn't that cool? I love that. So it's got that, like it's all those big brush strokes. And that's exactly what it looks like. It is so neat. I really like that a lot. Okay, so now we're going to grab the frame again and stick it right in the middle of the frame. Get my adhesive going again. There we go. Well, I didn't cut it off. If you don't cut it off right, it doesn't come out. So you just have to wheel it a little more and then it works just fine. I love the seal because it is a learning curve. But once you get it, I love it because the first 10 minutes that it's down, you can still lift it up. So if I got this on cockeyed, I can lift it back up again and put it down. That's something you couldn't do with our old adhesive. So, oh, I just love that. Doesn't that look like a frame? This would be pretty just like a tag. You could put a hole there and put it on a present or hang it off of a bag. Oh, that would look really pretty hanging it off a bag. Okay, so now I'm going to start making the card. Let me put this over to the side. This is a piece of Flirty Flamingo. It's the 5.5 by 8.5 regular piece for a card. Get this folded. You always want to make sure you get your corners lined up, and that gets everything else lined up. Then I'm going to take a piece of So Saffron. This is 4 by 5 1/4. A piece of the Dandy Garden DSP, and like I've been saying off and on, if you want to see all of the images in this is the other side here. If you want to see all the images of this beautiful paper, make sure you check out my unboxing video I did earlier today, and there's a link to that below in the video description. So I'm going to put that right here. So we'll get that on. And if I wanted to, I could have embossed this designer series paper too, but I thought I'll just leave it flat. Because that's the neat thing about this paper. I don't know if you can tell. Let me get it. There we go. You can see brush strokes in it. The shading is so good on this. It looks like you could feel the texture, even though it is smooth. It is smooth, but it is so, I just love this paper. And what it is, an artist actually painted all these, and then they took pictures of it for the designer series paper. They've done that before, and I think that is so cool. Okay, so we've got that on there. Now I'm going to take this is new ribbon in the same suite as this, oh, I keep forgetting, I'm learning the new name, Fine Art Floral Suite. This is Fine Art Ribbon. Isn't that pretty? I love the gold flecks in it. Hopefully you can see that in the video. But it's so pretty. So what I'm going to do, I can tell my designer series paper is about right here. So I'm going to put a strip, I'm going to put a couple strips of it to make it extra thick because I want that ribbon. Okay, there's my designer series paper again. I want that ribbon to stick to my adhesive. If I just do one strip, it probably will miss it. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put this on here. I just thought it needed to have a little bit. I didn't want to just have, oh, I can't think of words today. I wanted a better line between the cardstock and the paper. There we go. It just didn't look finished to me, so that's why I put the ribbon on there. Then we'll go ahead and put this on the card base, like so. And whenever I use ribbon, I'll make sure I've got enough adhesive in all the corners because you definitely don't want the corners to come up. I always put a little bit of adhesive right on top of that ribbon too, because I want to make sure that stays stuck on my card too. And I want my designer series paper on the left. If you ever reproduce this card, you can definitely put it on the right, whichever look you want to go for. And then I decided I wanted this to be popped up with dimensionals. So I'm going to put one in each corner and then one in the middle so it doesn't collapse on me since it's a big piece. Take your pick tool and get all my little paper backings off. Oops, that took off the whole dimensional. That didn't work very well. Make sure I've got these pushed down. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to put this right over here. I'm kind of centering it, the top and bottom and the right side. I want that border to look about the same there, but I am having it over to the right because I wanted to show off more of that designer series paper. And that is it. How easy is that? And it is so pretty. I love it when it's easy to do. I'm saying pretty. I'm not taking a lot of credit. The stamps did it, the paper, the dies. I just did the stamping and did some embossing, and that's it. Let me find my other card. Oh, there it is. So these are the two cards that I've made with my new stuff. I am going to go back to making cards with the Christmas and the Thanksgiving. We can't get rid of that stuff. But I wanted to take a little break and use some of my new stuff. You know how when you get new toys, you got to play with them. Okay. And I'm so glad I got my new computer. For those of you that have seen my lives before, which it's been a while since I've done them, a lot of times I would go back to me and it would be frozen. So at least that's working. And it did move my camera, but that's okay. But I hope you enjoyed the live. One of these days I'll start doing weekly lives again. Life has just been a little crazy and I'm trying to get caught up. So one of these days I will be doing some more lives. I will do ones periodically for sure, but I'd like to be able to get on a schedule. That way you know when I'm going to be live. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a great day. And I want to let you know I do have my first online class, and I think I forgot to put a link to that in the video description. I'll get that added here right after the video's over. It's the Curvy Celebrations. That's something that's going on right now. If you purchase certain items in that, of the things in the promotion, you will get a free online class. And I also have a video only option too if you've already purchased those things. You can find out about that in my online classes link that I will add right after this video is over. That'll take you right to my online classes page on my blog, so that way you can find out how you can get that. So I hope you enjoyed the video and have a great night, guys. Bye.